I want to tell you a story. It's a really simple one. On the surface, about a daily routine, but it gets at this huge, powerful idea. This is the story of Mrs. George's mail.
And this quote, this right here, is the whole thing. For Mrs. George, getting the mail wasn't just a chore she did. It was way more than that. It was part of her identity. It was a ritual that literally anchored her entire day. All right, so first, let's really get a feel for this routine she cherished so much. Picture this. Every single morning, before she even had breakfast, she'd walk out to the mailbox. She'd bring the mail back inside, sit down at her kitchen table, and she had her system down pat. Bills went in one pile, letters from family went in another. It was her thing, predictable, orderly, and completely hers. So what happens when things change? When Mrs. George started to need a little more help, the first way people tried to care for her is what we're going to call the asking approach. And the whole idea was just to acknowledge what she liked to do. Now, you've probably heard of this philosophy. It's called person-centered care, and it comes from a really good place, right? The staff, they knew her mail routine was a big deal for her, so their way of respecting that was to ask her if she wanted to be part of it. And it all came down to this one simple question. Mrs. George, would you like to help with the mail today? Now, that sounds totally respectful, right? Empowering, even. But, and this is a big but, there's a problem hiding just beneath the surface here. And this is where it can fall apart. Think about it. Her chance to feel that purpose, to do her thing, it all hinged on whether she could process and understand that question in that exact moment. Sometimes the answer was yes, but other times, no. The whole system was asking her to use skills like short-term memory and processing language that were frankly becoming unreliable. Okay, so that's one way to do it. But what if we flipped the whole script? That brings us to the designing approach, which is all about building a whole new reality for her. The entire focus, the whole strategy, it shifted away from asking a question that depends on memory and moved completely toward designing an environment for success. This idea is the absolute core of what's known as the Montessori-inspired lifestyle approach. And check out how simple yet brilliant this design is. Step 1, a little basket of mail just appears on the counter. No big announcement, it's just there. Step 2, a simple tray with 3 sections is put right next to it. And step 3, and this is so important, the tray is labeled with her words from her life, bills, family, community, not some generic label. So, why did this work so darn well? Because with this setup, she didn't have to remember that sorting mail was her job. Nobody had to give her instructions or prompt her to get started. All she had to do was see it. The setup itself was the invitation and the instruction manual, all in one. And if there is one sentence you take away from all of this, let it be this one. The environment did the remembering for her. Wow. Just think about that for a second. It's such a profound shift. Instead of demanding that a person remember something, you build the memory right into the world around them. See, this is the genius of it. This new approach didn't focus on what she'd lost. Instead, it leaned into the abilities that were still perfectly strong. Her ability to read simple words, to recognize objects, and that deep, ingrained muscle memory of how to sort things. It met her exactly where she was at. And this gets us to the real heart of the matter. The crucial difference between just keeping someone busy with an activity and allowing them to make a real, meaningful contribution. So when she was done, she had this quiet sense of completion. And here's the key. It wasn't because she was passively entertained or kept busy for a few minutes. It was because she had actually contributed. She had done a real job that mattered to the household. Okay, let's just put these two philosophies side by side. It makes the difference crystal clear. With person-centered care, the big question is, what do they want to do? It has to rely on their memory and their language skills. And the outcome? Well, a preference gets acknowledged. But with the Montessori-inspired lifestyle, the question is totally different. It asks, how can they contribute? It relies on their remaining strengths. And the outcome isn't just acknowledgement, it's genuine contribution. So think of it like this. The first approach is fragile. It all depends on how a person is doing in that one specific moment. The other approach? It's robust. It thoughtfully builds the opportunity to contribute right into the fabric of the day, every single day. So if we zoom out from Mrs. George's story for a minute, what's the big takeaway here? What can we all learn? Well, it's all about creating environments that remember for us. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. You know, it doesn't matter if we're talking about caring for our elders, educating our kids, or even just setting up our own homes and offices. How can we move beyond just accommodating people and start actively designing environments that truly empower them to contribute their best selves?